Suffering leads to salvation, and salvation leads to forgiveness, and forgiveness leads to freedom. Because your suffering is not meant to be where you stay. It is meant to be context telling the story from where you came from. Because that wisdom that, our wise elders have, our wise counsel, it's only healed pain. And there is no testimony without the test. I believe many people forget that. There's no testimony without going through the test.
Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Today I'm here hoping to be able to interview Joey Wilder. He is the creator, inventor, founder, you name it.
We have Joey Wilder, first time coming on the show.
But at that moment, I had a choice to make. I either hit this while it's hot, while people are hyped up about it, or kind of let it simmer out. And I've been told by many great mentors that it's all about the timing of things. This series isn't going to be about just running ads or posting on social media. It's going to be about how to build a category owning brand, drive consistent demand, and create a business that scales with precision and not burnout. This is going to be part 1 of the series. There's going to be 3 parts to the entirety of it. Now, the first part of this, called How to Market Like a Monopoly, specifically how to differentiate, disrupt, and drive demand in any industry. Now, part 1 of this is you brand first, sales second, and how to stop chasing and start attracting. Let's just be honest. If people don't feel your brand, they'll forget you, no matter how good your product is. That is just the truth. People don't feel your brand if they don't have something that comes to mind. If they don't feel anything, whether it's an uncomfortable feeling, we all remember shake weight, right? However, $384 million company. Shake weight. Wild. Yet we all remember it still to this day. I'm not going to say what else I was going to say, but there's this thing that's called, it's like a flashlight, but replace the A. Yeah, that thing, also like multi-$100 million company, like a lewd product, not something I would want to be involved with. But I share this with you because those things are memorable, and they don't have to be polarizing to be memorable. Those are just examples. Who remembers Bowflex? Yeah, everyone wanted a Bowflex in their house. Is Bowflex around today? No. They came and they left. Because, when you make $400 million and it's highly profitable, I figure you should kind of hang your hat at that point. But in this, you don't need more followers. You need more people who feel something when they hear your name. Because in business, what they remember is what they buy. Let's start with the hard truth. You're not in the product business. You're in the perception business. You're not in the product business. You are in the perception business. Because perception is what drives attention, and attention is what drives trust. Trust is what drives sales. That's why branding isn't a luxury, it's leverage. Branding is not a luxury, it's leverage. Now, for those of you that may be confused by that, that's why 90% of entrepreneurs treat brand like decoration instead of foundation. Your brand should not be a decoration. You should not consistently be rebranding with the season. Get out of here. Go put your crystals outside during the full moon. I'm sorry for those that I like actually am friends with that are into that. I'm sorry to you, but the other ones, like, come at me. Because here's the real problem. Too many business owners are playing the short game. They launch a product, they post on social, they run an ad, they hustle for leads, and when it doesn't convert, they just switch tactics. They just do the next tactic, they buy the next thing, they buy the next low ticket product, they download the next free training. But the problem isn't the platform. It's not your content. It's not your funnel. It's not any of these little nuances. It's not your email delivery. It's not like any of these things. It's not the algorithm not showing my post to people. Shut up. It's your brand. You've skipped the one thing that makes everything else work. A message that sticks, a story that sells, a brand that actually has gravity. No one's buying because you're missing clarity, you're missing conviction, and you're missing connection with your audience. You're not relatable. There's nothing that they feel that resonates with you. You're just one of the crowd. And for those of you that are thinking, like someone out there I know who just like bats his chest at the top of a proverbial mountain that he can't even hike up. I hate to throw shade, but the guy just can't keep my name out of his mouth. So here we are. You don't need to shout louder. You actually just need to mean more. You don't need to be louder. You need to mean more. Now I'm going to actually break this down here because when it comes to brand, ads are getting more expensive. Social reach is dropping. AI is flooding the internet with average content. People can have years of content created in minutes. If you know how to cue things correctly, and if you know how to build plugins and create these things to where they actually do sound like you because it's learning from you, you can do even more than that in less time. But here's the thing. The only thing left that cuts through the noise is you. Your message, your positioning, your brand leadership. And that's why the future to brands with soul, with strategy, and that have something to say, people don't want information. They want transformation. And that starts the second they feel your brand, not just see it. Now, I'm going to do a strategic breakdown because there's probably some people, I would imagine most people are lost right now. They're kind of like, okay, so I need to make myself different. I have a friend that does this, and I'm not going to mention his name because he's ridiculous. He tried to convince me that he got cheek work done and veneers because a branding company told him that they're looking for people that look different in the face, that are kind of like shock value. And he told me this on a call, and I looked at him and I was like, dude, that is the biggest piece of bullshit I've ever heard. I have no judgments about you getting work done. I think you look great either way, but do your thing. And he recently like added a middle name to his like brand. He's like, yeah, 3 names are branding these days. And I was like, dude, who are you talking to? Like, what Snapple are you buying that has this fact? Because that's what it sounds like, guys. None of these little nuances are going to be the thing. So I'm going to break it down for you. Starting with number 1, which is start with a brand narrative, not a business pitch. People don't buy what you do. They buy why it matters to them. So ask yourself, what pain is my audience trying to escape? What future am I helping them step into? Or what belief system do I want to lead? And the next one, what experience do I want them to have? What pain is my audience trying to escape? What future am I helping them step into? What belief system do I want to lead? What experience do I want my customer to have? Now, those 4 questions should work in pretty much any industry that's out there. Now, products and things like that, you're probably just going to use the final one. What experience do I want my customer to have? When I was in the product space and the health food space, I wanted my customers to have the experience of enjoying food that they wouldn't normally eat while they're dieting. I wanted my customer, when I was in the health food space, to enjoy food they would not normally eat while they're dieting and losing weight. I also wanted type 1 diabetics that live very challenging lives and aren't able to enjoy sweets to eat a donut and not feel like they're going to go into shock and die. I wanted people to have a sense of joy that was taken away from them, because when you're dieting, you feel like you're dying. That's how I felt when I was dieting for bodybuilding competitions, like over a decade ago. I've always been a cookie monster, and PFJ, previously Fat Joey, he still lives within. But guys, I wanted people to have enjoyment while they were still eating something that is kind of taboo. You're not supposed to eat donuts while you're dieting. Now, here's the template. Most ideal clients struggle with core pain because insert industry flaw or myth. I help them. I'm going to give you what this sounds like first before the template. Most entrepreneurs burn out trying to market like everyone else because the game has changed. I help them build monopoly level brands that attract buyers and not just followers. Now I'm going to put the template in the chat so you guys can actually see for my guys that are live with me. Most ideal clients struggle with core pain because industry flaw. I help them, the transformation you help them go through, by your unique process or philosophy. For my guys that are live on here, guys, just literally take that, plug it into ChatGPT, and then say, fill in my details. This is my business. This is what I sell. You're welcome. Now, for anyone listening to this live, check out the link in the description for Copywriter.io. It'll literally do the same thing for you. Check it out. Link down below, copywriter.io.joeywilder.com. Now, here's the next step in this. Now, I'm going to go a bit quick because I do have another call after, and I want to get through all of these, but you need to create a messaging engine. Your content should not sound like AI or a Canva quote card. I know someone that puts Canva quote cards all over their community. You need a system that reflects your voice, your values, and your vision. Guys, my marketing looks different than a lot of other people's out there. There's times that I put up memes. There's times that I'm trolling people. There's other times that I'm sharing parts of me. My brand and my marketing is an extension of me. All the rivers flow to the same ocean. Now, I have other friends out there that they haven't done a good job of doing that. I have friends that have created a brand that is a stark contrast to who they are. So it's really tough for them to show up as them. But my brand is an extension of me because nothing is just something I do, but anything I do is everything that I am. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, it took 13 years to become an overnight success. It took 13 years to become an overnight success. But in this, your content shouldn't sound like quote cards, like AI. It needs to be in these 3 lanes. It needs to be belief shifting, value driving, and trust building. So go look at your last 5 to 10 posts and how many make someone say, damn, that hit or that resonated. How many of them actually have responses on them? Are you getting responses? Are you having people reach out and say, hey, that really spoke to me? Are you getting engagement? because that's brand. That's what creates memory. I had a guy reach out to me 2 weeks ago about an onboarding that I did 3 years ago with this man. He reached out and he said, there was something you said on the onboarding. I was mentioning money and you said, man, it sounds like you have money wounds. That's not what we're here to talk about, though. I know we're here to talk about your marriage, but that's just something that I think you should stew on. He's like, I've spent years stewing on that, and I just wanted to share with you, 2 years in, my marriage is doing well. We've actually moved back into the same home, but I always thought about what you had said, and that stuck with me. And I just wanted to let you know that I started doing a lot of work on my finances because that was a big component of what was going wrong. And I wouldn't have thought about that had you not said that. And I wanted to reach out to you and just say thank you. And I'll be honest, I did not remember that onboarding. There was a phase that I did hundreds and hundreds of onboardings per month. But I remember this man because we were Facebook friends. I remember most people that I've personally engaged with once I see them face to face or on Zoom. But in this, that's brand. It created a memory for him, my conviction, my truth. And number 3 in this is own one big idea. Powerful brands are built on one core belief, repeated relentlessly. Apple, simplicity. Nike, greatness. You? Question mark. Me, marriage and business. Marriage and business. For most people, it's only marriage. But the question I get a lot is, what is it you actually do? I know you do many things. What is it you actually do? Well, that's a good question. I help eradicate men from loneliness and help them get their power back in their life or their business. And I help founders and professionals get ranked number 1 on Google, bring the right customers directly to their website to create more structure and sustainability. Now, this final step is, what's one thing you actually want to be known for? You need to get clear, get loud, and get consistent about that. Because if you're not known for something, you'll be ignored for everything. Now, let's actually anchor this to some hard data, because I love data. 81% of consumers say they must trust a brand before they'll buy from it. Brands that lead with emotion and that lead with story outperform bland competitors by up to 85% in lifetime customer value. 85%. So if your brand has no story, has no emotion, this is our purpose, this is our mission, like story-driven messaging is 22 times more memorable than facts alone. In other words, good branding doesn't just make you look better, it makes you sell more. Okay, now here's an action step. I'm going to help you build what I call your brand gravity statement. I'm going to help you build your brand gravity statement. Now you get to use this 4-part formula to instantly clarify and power up your brand message. Now, the first part is who you help. Get specific. I help first-time founders, burnt-out coaches, service pros scaling past 10K a month. I help diabetics enjoy sweets again. I help, let's do one that's kind of interesting. I help kids and young-hearted individuals experience medieval thrills through swordplay. And I'm thinking of you, Lance, but you get where my head's at. Like that's a great hook. Like, I help fun-hearted individuals kids and like-minded have medieval experiences through foam, sword, yada, 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 yada. You can always shorten it too, but you get where my head's at. Now, this next one is, what's the core problem? What is your audience really struggling with? And you add emotion with execution. Now, the core problem, for those out there that have an experience, I'm going to give you some examples here. It's a pain plus pattern. Now, it could be you've built a great offer, but no one knows how to talk about it. You're creating endless content. You're selling high ticket offers. You've outgrown your old brand. You're scaling too fast, but everything depends on you. You've got 10,000 followers, but nothing seems to work. Your children love to fight swords, but all you have is broomsticks. But all you have is sticks and stones, or, something fun. I don't know. It depends. Because it depends on the offer. But you need to speak to the core problem. Because when you hit both sides of the pain, which is the business problem and the emotional cost, you cut through the confusion, the overwhelm, the insecurities, and they're able to make a decision based off conviction. And this next part is the promise. What's the transformation? What are they walking away with? And what's the real result beyond just revenue? Now, examples. You get clarity on your brand message, positioning, and high converting content. A business. I'm giving some examples here for some specificity to some guys that are live. Now, it could mean a business that attracts leads on autopilot without you posting 24/7. A premium brand that feels aligned, magnetic, and scalable. A product offer that sells without you needing to explain it in 10 different ways. Maybe it's a marketing system that demands before you even make the pitch. Now, the pro tip here is you focus on the internal win and external result, not just the money side. Now, maybe you want to have a fully immersive, adrenaline-filled battle experience that leaves you laughing, sweating, and telling stories for weeks. Or maybe our weapons are safe, but the energy is real. You get hit, you feel it, but there's no weak swings allowed. Thinking of you, Lance. Because you get to embrace the fun, the weird, the visceral energy of your experience of the thing, and you get to own your lane. Now, when it comes to a general audience, guys, I don't like to generalize in these things, because when you cast a broad net, it makes it very challenging who you serve and how you do it. That's why it's important to focus on the internal win and the external result, not just the money, not just the feature, not just the caveat, because it leads into the final tier perfectly, which is the edge. What is your unique advantage? Meaning, why you? Why now? What's different about your process, story, or philosophy? And I get this a lot when I was specifically working in the marriage space only. Well, what makes you different? That sounds like yada, yada, yada. Now, I'm not going to give the example there, but when it comes to the unique advantage, the reason this matters is this is where you stand out. What do you believe that others don't? What do you not do that makes people trust you more? Well, I combine brand psychology, content strategy, and offer design into one ecosystem, so you scale with strategy and not just content. Or I could just share, well, I built this framework scaling 2 businesses to 7 figures with no ads and no cold DMs, and there's no recycled formulas, there's no bro marketing, just sharp messaging and demand. and generation strategy that actually works. Now, what do you believe that others don't? Now, at the end of all of this, you combine this into a full gravity statements. I help solo consultants who are tired of selling time for money turn their expertise into a product-sized brand that scales. I do this by having a message-first strategy that builds demand before they ever pitch. Now, for you, Lance, there's a couple different ones. We help families and friend groups create unforgettable memories with safe, action-packed medieval battles that bring people together through chaos, laughter, and epic storytelling. Juicy, right? If we want to get general, we help everyday legends, weekend warriors, and fantasy lovers experience full contact, foam battles in a live-action medieval event where you don't just watch the story, you become it. Pretty juicy, right? Guys, here's why this matters. If you are not clear on who you serve, how you serve them, and what you do and why you are unique, you're just one of the crowd. You're just one of the sheeple. Once you have this, repeat it everywhere. Your content, your bios, your website, your pitch. You burn it into your audience's mind until they repeat it back to you. And when people mention me, they're like, oh yeah, he does the marriages and business stuff. Yeah, go talk to Joey. That's what it's become now. You need to talk to Joey. You need to chat with Joey. Hey, so-and-so mentioned your name and I added you because they said that we should chat. Oh, cool. What was the context? Now, here's the final word on this before we cut out. Branding isn't just about how you look. It's about how people feel when they experience you. And if they don't feel anything, they won't follow you, buy, or come back. So before you post another reel, post another piece of content, another tweet, another thing, or update your offer, ask, do people get who I am, what I stand for, and why I'm the only one they should trust? If the answer's not yet, this is your moment to fix it. Because when you market like a monopoly, you don't compete, you become the category king. It's like owning all the railroads in life. Now, for those that are still here, do you want to build behind the scenes strategies? I don't post anywhere else. If you want the strategies that I haven't offered before, I'm offering for a final time what's called Inbox Influence. It's my private email list where I drop weekly power plays on branding, and I've condensed it all into a 7-day email format. Now, in this, I have used this exact email format in every different business that I have gone in. If you want to get access to it, check out inboxinfluence.joeywilder.com. But the final word on this topic, so this is going to be a 4-part series, so it's going to happen week after week. The next part of this series is going to be a good one because ideally, part 2, when you step into it, let me get the name for it. Part 2 is going to be marketing that moves the money and builds demand instead of begging for attention. So if you feel like you are constantly just trying to grow your audience and you just don't know how, tune in for the next training. But when it comes to branding, it's not about how you look. It's about how people feel when they experience you. Now, if people don't get who you are, what you stand for, or why you're the only one that they should trust, and the answer is kind of not yet, this is your moment to fix it. Use today's training to do that, because when you get specific on who you serve, what you do, how you do it, and what their unique experience is going to be, it positions you as the category king. Guys, check the description. Head over to inboxinfluence.joeywilder.com. Get the download. I'll see you on the next one, y'all.
Peace.